What do Jesus and Buddha have in common? Far more than you might first imagine. Both confronted suffering in its deepest forms and explored how we might transcend it. Today, drawing on timeless insights, we'll see how the cross, far beyond its Christian heritage, embodies a truth so universal that it speaks directly to our own lives. To many, the cross is simply a religious emblem or even a decorative motif, yet its meaning runs much deeper. In the Christian tradition, it stands at the heart of faith, signifying Jesus' death, the agony he endured, and his triumphant resurrection. But what if this same symbol encapsulates a universal teaching, one that reaches beyond any single religion? Long before Jesus walked the earth, the Buddha had already pointed to this very insight, that recognizing suffering and finding the way through it is the path to awakening. There is a compelling paradox woven into the cross. It serves both as an instrument of torture and as a sign of the divine. At first glance, that may seem contradictory, yet this very tension holds profound meaning. The cross of nails shows us the abyss of pain, while at the same time it gestures toward the possibility of transcending pain altogether. In this union of suffering and victory, we find the same essential message that Buddha taught: to see suffering clearly, to embrace it fully, and to use that clarity as our doorway to liberation. At their core, both teachers guide us through the same process. First to acknowledge suffering, then to transform it. How does that work in everyday life? Think of your own dark moments, a wrenching breakup, the loss of someone dear, or a serious illness. In those hours, you may feel nailed to your personal cross, trapped in despair. Yet precisely then, a seed of awakening can sprout. People who endure the fiercest trials often discover a deeper consciousness, not because the suffering itself is sought, but because it forces us to grow beyond the confines of our old selves. So how do we shift from being ensnared by pain to standing free within it? The key lies in a deeper dimension of our being, often called pure awareness. This is the part of you that observes every thought, every memory, without becoming overwhelmed by them. Jesus described this inner light as the light of the world, and he embodied it fully. It is that same universal awareness glowing in each of us, the unshakable core of who we truly are, beyond all stories, beyond the past, beyond pain. When you realize that your essential identity is not defined by what has happened to you, but by that timeless awareness that witnesses everything, the weight of old wounds begins to lift. We can see, as I once did, that our truest self is this ever-present consciousness, an emanation of the divine source. Once that shifts, every form of suffering becomes something to transcend rather than something to cling to. For those who have carried heavy burdens, this revelation offers real hope. Your history has shaped you, but it does not define you. The cross teaches us, then, that full acceptance of suffering without futile resistance is the gateway to transcendence. Just as Jesus found victory on the cross and Buddha found freedom under the Bodhi tree, so we too discover that our true self lies on the far side of pain. That doesn't mean challenges vanish. They will still come. But when anchored in presence, they lose their power to break us. Instead, each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen our awareness, to live more fully, and to rest in calm at the heart of the storm. I know this from my own life. When I faced a grave health crisis that threatened everything I had built, I felt the fear of death dissolve, and with it a direct experience of my own inner light. The roles I played, the stories I told myself, all fell away, and my very presence grew stronger. The greater the trial, the more vividly I felt that pure awareness shining through. This is the timeless wisdom that both Jesus and Buddha pointed to. We are not our suffering, not our stories, and not even our identities. We are pure consciousness, the living light in the world. Embracing this truth can transform your life. You can find peace amid chaos, calm within storms, and freedom even in what once seemed like unbreakable chains. Stay present, stay authentic, and keep your inner clarity. The teachings of Jesus and Buddha invite you to recognize that unchanging awareness within and to trust it in every circumstance. In doing so, even the hardest moments become steps on the path toward a fully conscious, deeply joyful life.